everyone, welcome to biology class. Here we are with the part 3 of this chapter number 4, ecosystem. We'll begin with the topic interactive components of the ecosystem. So when we talk about the components of the ecosystem, we can divide them into two parts. One are called as the biotic components and the second one are called as the abiotic components. Both of these interact or work together to form or constitute an ecosystem. So that is also given like here in an equation form. We can write biotic components plus abiotic components. They all conclude or they all work together as a form of ecosystem. So what are the biotic as well as the abiotic components? We will see them in details. Just here we have an example for your broad understanding here. Broadly, if we say the living components, whatever the living substances are there, they are forming the biotic components, and remaining whatever is non-living part, that is helping these biotic components to sustain themselves, to sustain life, they are helping, that are called as the abiotic components. Here they have given an example like the plants, that is living thing only, so it is a biotic component. They will need carbon dioxide, which is a biotic component. Carbon dioxide is a gas, it is non-living, but still that gas is important for the survival of that particular plant, or we can say biotic component. So abiotic components are not living, but they are very important for the living things to sustain their life. So that is, you already know, CO2 gas is required for the photosynthesis process, and it is produced by animals through respiration. So these are, we can say in an indirect manner, we can say there is a regular interaction between the biotic as well as the abiotic component. Both are we can say both are interconnected to each other. How they are, so we will see now in more details. One by one we will study. First we will go through the abiotic components. If you say the names now, first one is light, then it is temperature, water, air, soil. Each one of this is non-living thing, but still they are very essential for the sustenance of life on the earth. So we can say biotic components all are depending on them only. How so? One by one let us see. First is light. This is one of the most valuable, most important abiotic components, and from where the light is coming on the earth, that is sun. Sun is the ultimate source of light energy, and we all should be knowing what is the importance of sun. It greatly influences the life of each one of us, and all the life exists on the planet earth because of the solar energy only. How we can say so? Because we all need food to eat, and food at the most basic level in the presence of sunlight through the process of photosynthesis by the green plants. If there is no sunlight, if there is no presence of light energy on the planet earth, then these plants cannot prepare their food, and if the plants do not prepare their food, the other organisms, the animals and human beings, won't also get the food, and ultimately all the life would stop to exist on the planet earth. That is why it is said that light is one of the most valuable resource, or we can say most valuable abiotic component. Now this intensity, the intensity of the light also has a great influence. For example, they have given an example like chrysanthemums and poppies. These are kind of plants only. They like bright light. They are generally present in the brighter areas where more sunlight is available. Whereas the other kind of the plants like ferns, they prefer shady places. So it depends on the type of the plants and trees and whatever. They can have a variation on the intensity of the light. They can just they can generally prefer different amount of intensity of the light. Also in case of the animals, also in animal, the sunlight enables the skin to synthesize vitamin D. Even our own body, when you stand in the sunlight, the fat, that is cholesterol in your body, it also converts itself and produces another complex called as the vitamin D. So that is also important for the for our body. So that is one factor we have seen, how light influences life on the planet earth. Second is temperature. This is also related to light only. So the survival of the plants and animal depends on a certain range of the temperature. That is, general range is 0 to 50 degrees Celsius. Less than 0 also we can't exist. More than 50 itself is very high, but if it exceeds 50, then it would be almost impossible for the sustenance of life on this planet earth. So each of the organism, not only human beings, every organism is having a particular range, that is temperature tolerance range, that in that particular range only that organism can live. Like If you take for example the mountainous animal, the hilly areas, you are having certain animals, they can live in colder areas, but they can live in the desert. Similarly, the animals which are living in the desert, they can't live in the mountainous area. You can't take them to the north pole, and they will simply die there. So that is, we are calling it as temperature tolerance range. Not only for the animals, different plants and trees are and even the fruits and vegetables are there, which can grow only in a certain range of temperature only. Let us see some examples now. Like pine grows only and only best in the climatic condition which are cold climatic condition. Similarly, watermelons, they grow best in the summer. You can't grow watermelons in winter season, you can't grow them in the colder areas. So that is what is related to the temperature tolerance only. In case of animals also, the polar bears, they survive in very cold regions, they remain at the polar areas of the earth. Similarly, the insects and the frogs, they remain in the warmer areas, they can't go in the cold regions, because these are cold blooded animals. Frogs are cold blooded, they will simply die in the cold areas, so they prefer the warmer regions. So this is all that is given here because of this only, because certain kind of animals can't remain in the colder areas. Example, like we can take like snakes and lizards especially. They will, what they will do in the winter season, if you notice, the lizards are not visible, they all hide there where they are moving everywhere. Any of the place you can see, they are generally not visible in the winter season. What is the reason there? Because they reduce their activity, they are not able to sustain their life in the cold temperature, so they reduce their activity because they have to conserve more energy in their body. They will not spend more energy. If they spend energy, then their body will have less energy, and as a result they can die also. So they will do minimum activity and almost become inactive for some period during the winter season, and this kind of winter sleep only is called as hibernation. So certain animals are generally hibernating in the winter season. They don't do any kind of activity, or if they have to, they will do minimum activity only. This is called as winter sleep, also called as hibernation, and this is related to the changes in the temperature. In the summer season they will come outside, in the winter season they will again go and hide somewhere. So that is all what is, we have seen the second factor called as temperature. Next, moving on, is water. It is another essential requirement. No organism can survive without water. Even our own body, we can say 60 to 70% water is present, and it is used to perform various activities. Various chemical reactions are going on in our body. Like you can see, digestion of food, it is a chemical reaction only, so that is a metabolic activity. It takes place in the presence of water only. Circulation of body fluids, the blood also contains water liquid part, that is called as plasma. So that is how water is very important in the human beings. Second is the plants also absorb the water, and they also prevent themselves for drying. If you don't give water to the plants, they will also die, because they also use water to make their food. Water is one of the reactant in the process of photosynthesis. It will also stop in the absence of water. So now again, availability of water depends on the climatic conditions. In the desert areas, there is no such major source of water. So the plants which are present in the desert area, they will have adaptive features. Like in the cactus plant that is available in the desert areas, there you will see the leaves will not be there. The leaves will modify themselves into spines. Thorn like structures will be there, that is, the spines will be observed on the in the desert plants. Also the become very short, just to reduce the water that is being used there. So that is only to reduce the water loss through transpiration, because normally what is happening, the leaves are having transpiration. From the leaves, water is being lost regularly, so water vapor is going away. So to reduce this loss of water only, in the desert areas already water is not there, so the leaves will convert themselves into spine. When leaves will convert them into spine, then less water will be lost, and ultimately water will remain saved inside the plant, that is the desert plant. So that is what they have told. That next thing, one more thing is there, that is in the aquatic environment. Now there, what will be there, that is a reduced root system will be there. A reduced root system will be there, especially in the aquatic environment, and the leaves are having a waxy coating, because the plants are already submerged in water, and because of water, the leaves, not the aquatic one, the normal plant. If the normal plant you put in water, after some days what will happen, its leaves will spoil in the water. But in the aquatic plants it is not happening, because there is a wax layer there on the leaves. There is a waxy coating for the protection against the decay due to water. Due to the presence of water, that leaves or the parts of the plant will not be affected because there is a wax coating all over the plant body. So that is a adaptation in the case of the plants in aquatic regions. Desert animals such as camels and kangaroos do not need much water. This is also another thing they have given. So all what we are studying is interaction between different organisms with regard to the water. So that is another abiotic factor we have seen. We will move further, that is to the air now. That is the next abiotic factor. Air helps in what? It helps in the dispersal of the seeds, fruits and spores. So ultimately it is helping in the pollination. We have studied already the pollination of flowers. So that is where air is one of the pollinating agent. It carries the pollen grains when the wind is blowing. Pollen grains and the seeds and all, these are dispersed, these are distributed. Dispersal means distribution only. Distribution of seeds, fruits and spores is done by the air. When the wind blows, it happens. So also, other than this, it is also important for the survival. We need oxygen gas to breathe, and it is present in air only. So if there is no air, we can't breathe. So oxygen gas is available only because of that, because of the factor that is air is available all around us, and we can have respiration. Respiration means we can convert the food into energy using the oxygen we are breathing. Also, air regulates the temperature on the earth. If there is no air available on the earth, if there is no atmosphere, then what will happen? Our planet earth, which is having a normal temperature range, this will not be maintained. Whatever solar energy is coming, sun is giving heat energy. That heat energy will strike the earth and go back. It will simply go back into the space. But it is not happening normally. Normally क्या होता है? Normally sun is sending its solar energy and air is getting heated. Air around the earth, that is atmosphere, is a layer of gases. So all these gases are getting heated up and it leads to the normal temperature for us to live. अगर एयर नहीं होगी, then what will happen? All the heat from the sun will come on the earth and it will simply go back. Simply all the heat energy will go back. Heat energy earth planet के ऊपर नहीं रुक पाएगी, and ultimately what will happen? Our planet will convert into a ball of ice and no life can exist. So atmosphere is the only one reason that solar energy is trapped on the planet earth, and there is a regulation of the normal temperature range. It is available. Atmosphere is not there on other planets. दूसरे planets पे atmosphere नहीं है. That is why only there we can't have a normal temperature range. So the planet earth is blessed with atmosphere. That is why we are able to survive on this planet. Also, other than this, one more thing is given, that is it provides a medium for locomotion of the birds. Locomotion means movement of the birds. Birds can easily fly in the air only. Air नहीं होगी, then birds can fly. So that is logical only. Also, other thing, it absorbs the excess heat and does not let the day become too hot. Extra heat को air absorb कर लेती है. That you already should be knowing. So that is all. It does also help in the regulation of temperature. That only they have told about this. So now we will move to the next, that is the soil. That is the next important abiotic factor. Soil is the house for a large number of living organisms like earthworms, fungus, bacteria. All these are present in the soil only, and from the soil only the plants are getting various kind of minerals like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. All the minerals are also dissolved in the soil. So soil again becomes another important abiotic factor for our life. Next one and the last one, but not the least, that is humidity. Humidity is what? It is the amount of water vapor. How much water vapor is present in the air. So in the atmosphere or air, the quantity or amount of water vapor is called as humidity. If we say the humidity is high, then we can say that, then we mean to say that there is more or much water vapor. If we say opposite, if we say humidity is low, then the air is dry. Air is dry or almost dry, means water vapor is less. So this humidity will affect us in which manner? It will affect the rate at which the water evaporates from the surface of organisms, especially the transpiration, and in the case of animal it is sweating. If there is more humidity, more water vapor in the surroundings, then transpiration and sweating will be less, and opposite thing will take place. That is, we can say it will take place in the opposite manner, like we can call it, just a minute. So here we can say that sweating as well as transpiration are depending upon the humidity. More humidity and less humidity will affect the rate of transpiration as well as sweating. Now we move on to the next one, that is the biotic component. That is the living things itself, the plant, animal, different microorganisms. All these are the biotic components on the planet Earth, or we can say of the environment. First we'll see about the plants. We already know that they are the primary food source. They prepare the food from the photosynthesis process only, and ultimately we get the food from the plants. Not only the food, they also give us the fuel, fibers, medicines, beverages like tea and coffee, the drinks, these are called beverages. So all these are obtained by the plants itself. So that is only what is written here. Along with this, one more important thing is given here, that is the food that is available in the plant, that is in the form of carbohydrate. Not only the food is provided by the plants, other thing that is there, that is very important, is oxygen gas. It is also released as a byproduct. The main purpose or the main product of photosynthesis is to prepare food, that is the product. But in the process of making this product, that is the food, the plants also prepare a byproduct. One extra thing is also forming, that is called as oxygen. So two things are produced by the photosynthesis, food and oxygen, and both are useful for us. So that is all what is told here. I hope you can do the reading, and this is the process they have told. This is what you have been learning already. Water is moving up through the roots, sun is giving the solar energy, it absorbs, and in the stomata this energy is trapped, and then photosynthesis takes place and oxygen gas is produced and food is stored in the plants, and we can use that as well. Next is the biotic factor is regarding animals. Animals cannot prepare their food and they depend on plants as well as other animals. Some are herbivorous, which eat plants, some are carnivorous, which eat other animals. So this is all the second biotic factor, that is animals are present in the environment. Third biotic factor in the environment is the microorganisms, and they are in large numbers. There are millions of microorganisms all around us, and they are found almost everywhere, on water, air, soil, even on our own body also. Inside our body also different microorganisms are present. They also are helping us. Microorganisms are also helping us to decompose the dead animals and dead plants body. Their body is simply decomposed and converted into decomposed matter. So this is helping the environment in cleaning the bodies of the dead and the dead plants and the animals, that is simply decomposed using the microorganisms. So this is the third biotic factors that we have studied. We can divide these biotic components into major categories, that is producers, that is the green plant itself, they make their own food and they are called as the producers because they are producing and they are doing it on their own. They are given a name, that is the green plants are called autotrophs. Auto means self and troph means nourish. Nourish means giving food. They are giving food to themselves, they are preparing their own food. That is why they are called as autotrophs and also called as the producers. They are producing the food, so two terms are given to the green plants. So they are the main source of food and energy for all the living beings. Next is now the consumers. They are also the second level of the biotic components is the consumers, which are getting the food from the plants because they cannot make their own food, and this category is having animals. Animals cannot make their own food and they are also called as heterotrophs. Now remember, one is autotroph, that is plants, they make their own food. Second is heterotroph, they are all animals. Even the human beings comes in the category of heterotroph. They can't make their own food, and what they are doing, they consume the food prepared by the plants. Because of this only they are also given the name consumer. So heterotrophs and consumers animals, autotrophs and producers are plants. Now again we will have some more categories here based on this based on the feeding habits. The consumers, again the animals itself, are divided into various types. First is the primary consumers. Primary ones are the ones which directly eat the plants only, which depend on the plant only. All the herbivorous animals which eat the plant only, the plant eater animals, are called as the primary consumers, like cow, elephant, giraffe, deer and sheep. All these are the primary consumers, also called the first order consumers. Second one is the secondary consumer. They are indirectly feeding on the plant, the secondary ones. Generally they are the carnivorous animal eaters are the carnivorous, also called secondary consumers. They are eating the flesh of the herbivorous. They kill the herbivorous animals and get the chemical energy through them. The energy is transferred from the plant is eaten by herbivores, and then herbivorous is eaten by carnivores. So indirectly what is happening? Indirectly the energy of the particular plant is going into the carnivore through the way of herbivorous plants. From the plants energy move to herbivores, and from the herbivores energy moves to carnivores. That is why it is given there. They are indirectly eating plants only. The energy which is in the plants indirectly it is moving into the secondary consumers or the second order consumers. They are only called as second order consumers. The examples will see here, all the carnivorous animals will be there: lions, tiger, wolf, fox, hyenas, vultures, eagles, jackals. All these are secondary consumers. So these are certain categories, and the last one now we will see here, that is the tertiary consumers. They are also indirectly eating the plant only, but what they are doing, they are feeding on the flesh of carnivores. They are not killing the herbivorous, they are killing the carnivorous. So let us see the example, like a snake. Snake is eating frog, and frog is eating something else like insects and all, and insects are eating the plants. So that is how the food chain becomes here. So that is called as the tertiary consumers, which are eating the flesh of the carnivores. Example I told you, like the snake is eating. Also, the snake is itself being eaten by the hog. That can also be called as the tertiary consumer. That is also correct. Next, now we'll move to the next special category, that is called as the omnivorous. There are certain kind of animals or the heterotrophs which are eating both plant as well as animal. These type of animals or heterotrophs are called as the omnivorous. Omni, when we talk about omni, it is called as all, and vorous means eater. So all eater means they are eating all the things, plant as well as animals. Human beings are also a common example of omnivorous only. So other examples like bears, dog, cat, crow, peacock, all these are omnivores only. There are certain special categories which are the animals or the birds also are there, which are feeding on the dead animals. As I told, there are certain categories which are eating the dead animals. These animals or the birds are put in the category of scavengers. The animals which feed on the dead animals are called as scavengers, and actually they are helping us. They are helping to keep the environment clean, because the dead bodies of other animals will have a foul smell. They can cause diseases also. So when they are eaten up completely, the environment becomes clean. So scavengers are helping the environment only. Last one is the parasites. These are the animals or especially the microorganisms only. They live inside or on the body of other things, other living beings. So they are called as parasite. They are getting the food from other organism. They are not doing any work. Simply they are sitting, they are living on the body of other organism, and they are getting the food also. So example you can see like lice, roundworms, pinworms. All these are parasite only. They stick themselves to the body of other organisms, and they are extracting the food from their other body of the other organism. They can also suck the blood of the other person also. In the case of human beings also, these are causing diseases. So this is all about the different categories of the consumers. Last one now, one separately that is given is decomposers. These are what? These are the microorganisms like bacteria and fungus, which are doing the decomposition work, just like the scavengers only. They are the decomposers. Scavengers also can be put in this category of decomposers. How they are doing? How they are eating the dead animals? They are producing certain chemicals, and when they release the chemical on the dead body of the animal or the plant also, these chemicals will dissolve the particular organic matter, the food that is present there. The animal's body or the molecules of that dead animal's body will be simply digested, or they will be dissolved and converted into simple nutrients, and these nutrients are mixed with the soil and absorbed by the plants, and then plants are eaten by the animals, and ultimately this cycle continues forever. So ultimately what the decomposers are doing, they are decomposing the dead and decaying matter, that is the dead plant and the dead animal's body is being decomposed. That is why they are helping in recycling of the nutrients and keeping the environment clean. So that is all we have studied till here regarding the various kind of the abiotic factors, and we have also classified the various organisms. Next video will be about the food chain and the food web. Now we'll move on towards the exercise part. In the next video, one more video will be there, that you will have the exercise part. Thank you for now.